tempo was 128 on this song. Playing a little basketball, basketball, 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 playing a little basketball. One day when on the way I met a kid named BJ. He said, hey, we're gonna play. I said, they said play. So I took the 3 minutes and got the rebound, took it down, never heard a sound, got a flop by like it was out for the tricky penetrating my drops. I came to win, now this is hot. BJ told me to keep it right, so I started off with a turn on the stereo, kick up the bass. Then I shot him in the face and wore smooth as lace. Discovery school, y'all was the place. But BJ was good too. Made a couple threes and a couple twos. So it was tight when I had to leave before I left territory. His number to play someday again. Then I jumped and grabbed a tin of the rim, hung for a second, then left and said later be. That was the beginning of the multicultural team. We were playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball. I got home school the next day and decided to ring up DJ to go play some ball down to a chess. In no time at all, we became the best pair of balls in the school. It was cool to watch their opponents drool over the tools that we use as we reach schools in the court. Me and my cohort made the game short, so we decided to play with the cops, man. That's when I picked up the nickname of the Bird, because people heard that I played like Larry Bird. Making people school was easy. It was easy to see me and BJ make threes. Our opponents fell to the knees and begged us, please don't do this to me. They flee when they saw me in the B. His moves were fast and Bruce Lee. Those days were easy, I done so quickly, you could not see me, and I get free on the ring, pull up the 3. People gave me top box, cause we always won as a lead. Then we go home, take a shower, go to sleep, and we do that 7 per week. Playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball. But the game's different. You had to be more just physically gifted. Got another game, gotta claim that the board is your own. Gotta grab a rebound that comes down to your zone. You gotta eat, gotta drink, gotta think the game, otherwise no one in your name and to think you'll win. Gotta have court vision and envision what's gonna happen next. Had to pass every test, every possession's a war, never knowing what store, sometimes there's a store, sometimes you pass. Sometimes you go fast, sometimes you slow down, sometimes you pull up, sometimes you throw down. You gotta play hard to win, gotta play smart to win. So again, work on your game and work on your mind, work on your days and work on your dimes. And when you're done, just chill come around. Sometimes for the day, but tomorrow's another day that'll be. Playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball, playing a little basketball, basketball. All right, so there you go. That is the live performance, and now I'm going to get into the story. But before I get into the story of the actual song, I want to thank Steve. It turns out it's Steve's birthday, but he also is my first tip. He gave me a tip through PayPal, which you can do at paypal.me/missionman, or missionman@missionman.net is my email if you want to PayPal it that way. Or Venmo is missionman music. But that tip gets me closer to being a full-time professional musician, and it's fantastic. And Steve, since it's your birthday, it's your birthday, so happy birthday. It's your birthday, so happy birthday. It's your birthday, so happy birthday. Happy birthday, Steve. Okay, so now I'm going to have a seat and pull up a chair next to you and discuss the making of behind the song. And here's the keyboard. Hold on, let me untangle it. Or just scoot it a little closer. This is the keyboard that I recorded the song on. It is a Yamaha PSR 510. And it's what I recorded the entire album of Entering My Mind on. I'll scoot the seat closer to me. That works too. This is the beauty of live. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes chords get tangled in chairs while I'm trying to perform. And yeah. So the story of the album is where I'll start because, actually no, I'll start with the basics of the song. First of all, this is a Larry Bird jersey. Let me turn around again so you can see that a little bit. Yeah, that kind of worked. It works well enough. This jersey, my mom bought it for me in 1993, and she passed away in 1994. It is actually uh, the last thing that she bought me that I still own. So there's a huge connection with this jersey to my mom. So there's a lot of personal meaning there with this jersey, and that's why I wore this jersey in the video. But for the song, it's really a song in three verses, and each verse has its own purpose. The first one is about the time that I met BJ. Um, I had just moved to Florida, which was Orlando, 1,000 miles from where I grew up. My mom was there to work on her PhD at the University of Central Florida, and to this day I'm still a UCF fan. Go Knights! It's not Golden Knights anymore, just Knights. Um, uh, but you know, I didn't have any friends when I got down there. And basketball allowed me to meet one because on my walk home from University High School to my apartment, the middle school is right next door. It's called Discovery Middle School. And BJ was playing basketball on the court there. And I joined him. You know, we just played basketball for a while, and then we exchanged information, and then we started hanging out. And I think I moved down there in September because it was after the first quarter of high school. And then, you know, within a month is when he told me to kick a rap, and that's when I started rapping. And you know, that's how my big musical journey began. So had it not been for basketball, I wouldn't have met BJ. Had it not been for BJ, I may not have started rapping. So my life could be extraordinarily different had it not been for basketball and then for music, and you know. So that first verse, there's a lot more behind it than you would expect. Well, you know, the song pretty much is just a fun song about playing basketball, but it does have that deeper meaning. If that's how I got started musically. And then the second verse is about our friendship getting closer because we played basketball pretty much every day. Sometimes we played at the high school, sometimes we played at the middle school, and then sometimes we would walk to the University of Central Florida and play with the college kids um, when we wanted a different kind of challenge. And then the third verse is about the greatness, or the hard work and dedication and sacrifice it takes to be great, specifically at basketball in the song, but you know, by metaphor and extension, anything in life. So that's the basic story of the song. Now Steve, who again it's his birthday, and he's the first person to leave me a tip trying to get me closer to being a full-time professional musician. He asked me after I did the behind the songs on Inventor, how the sample from Inventor got into the song Playing a Little Basketball. And for that, I really need to tell the story of the entire album, because this is the last song from the album that I'll be doing behind the songs on. And for the album Instrument of My Mind, when I was in high school, my senior year, I was taking all my classes at Miami University through the post-secondary enrollment options program. And Miami's classes ended like the first week of May at that point in time. My high school graduation wasn't until June 6th, I think. So I had 3.5 weeks where I was done with classes but hadn't graduated yet. And I was, I would have been 17. I don't think I had a job at that point. I was just playing a lot of basketball and all that. My brother told me that if I used the name Wakefire for my label, if I called it Wakefire Records, he would pay for the release of my first album, pay for the studio time, pay for the pressing of the album. And I said yes. I got super excited. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. And I wrote the entire album in 3.5 weeks. I wrote 14 songs, kept 13 of them, and the studio was in Liberty, Kentucky. A friend of his named Richard Easterling was a producer and had converted a Apple Barn into a studio, and that's what it's called, Apple Barn Recording Studios. But it was professional. You know, you got the soundproof booth for the vocals, and they had a reel-to-reel and a whole bunch of awesome equipment. So I recorded the entire album in 3.5 hours because we thought it was a 2-hour drive, but it was 3.5. So we realized it had to be done in one session. And Lamont from the Weightlifting Jam, he's the one who gave me a ride down and back. So we recorded the entire album, but there was still post-production to do. The engineer, the producer, just gave me a cassette of the finished album, told me to listen to it and give him feedback. So I always take notes on, you know, at 3 minutes into this song or a minute and a half into this song, I want this echoed, I want this delayed, I want my voice doubled, or whatever notes I wanted. And for playing a little basketball, I gave him the note that I wanted to use the sample from Inventor where I say turn on the stereo, kick up the bass, and put that into playing a little basketball. Apparently I didn't communicate it well enough, and they're different tempos. Like Inventor has a tempo of 110 and maybe even 100. I mean, I gotta make sure the right style is on here. Inventor is, oh, it's a different keyboard, but this is pretty close. You know, Inventor's a bit slower. And playing a little basketball is at a tempo of 128, so it wouldn't really work. I mean, what I was going for was something like DJ told me to kick a rap, so I started off with turn on the. Boy, I really can't pull this off even live. So we're talking about tempo 128 for playing a little basketball. DJ told me to kick a rap, so I started off with turn on the stereo, kick up the bass. Let's try this one more time. DJ told me to kick a rap, so I started off with turn on the stereo, kick up the bass. Then a shot in his face, jump a wheel smooth as lace in Discovery School, y'all was a place. Something like that, but a lot more smooth. And with the mismatching tempos and the fact that he was doing it on analog and my miscommunication, the sample from Inventor got into playing a little basketball that way. So there you go. That's really the entire story behind playing a little basketball, and then how the album Inch From My Mind came to be, and how the sample from Inventor got in there. So thank you for watching the performance. Thank you for sticking around and hearing the story behind the song. I hope it brought new meaning for you for the song. And if the song has any kind of special meaning for you, definitely leave that in the comments. If you have any questions about the song or about the album, any kind of comments on what I said, definitely leave those in the comments, and I will do my best to reply to everybody. So thank you all very much for watching. On Wednesday, I'll be back here on YouTube to do a behind the video. I haven't decided which video yet. Could be I Don't Need. It's got some cool effects. Could be something else. It won't be playing a little basketball because that'll be a special thing that I will do with Henrik Kudo, who directed the video. But yeah, so next Wednesday will be a video, and then next Friday I'll be back here to perform Chillin' at the Papa and then tell a story behind that. So thank you all very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you don't already, and click the bell if you want to be notified every time that I upload something new or go live. So thank you all very much. Have a fantastic weekend.